trust me, they care. Right? When they hear
I am the only woman on this panel.
Well, hang on.
I am the only person here involved with recreational sports where I play with trans people, by the way. I'm the only woman on here that'll probably have a family in the next decade. I am the person that you are talking about that should be concerned about this, and I'm not, because this is a manufactured issue.
Harry Sisson and Cat Abu Ghazaleh were guests on Piers Morgan's show, and they literally destroyed him. The debate, classic Piers Morgan, culture-worn nonsense, this time about Democrats and trans issues. And you can imagine what happened. Piers completely lost it. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Let's watch.
It's a manufactured issue.
This is the problem. This is why you won't win elections.
How much?
No,
that's just not true.
That's why you won't win.
People under the bus
when you deny science and biology, you will not win an election. I can absolutely take that to the bank for you.
You are
will
so
not win
obsessed with
as
this
long as you
and aren't
keep trying to.
listening to the
as long as
woman.
you keep trying
You're
to tell.
saying that this is hurting women and girls. Can you name 5 WNBA players?
I'm saying if you hang around with your progressive mates. You hang around with your progressive mates and you all boast about how many trans athletes you know and how it doesn't have any impact on women's sport. And then we all watch the Paris Olympics and we watch a biological male who had been banned from the World Championships for testing positive for male chromosomes, beating up a young female Italian boxer so badly the boxer quit after 40 seconds. And that biological male wins
just
gold.
Spreading misinformation at this point. There are plenty of athletes that have... Michael Phelps is basically his entire body is made to swim. Like the fact that you're talking about common sense solutions, all this stuff, and then every single time you want to talk about things, you bring up trans people when they are just trying to live their lives is ridiculous. What we actually need to do. It
has nothing to do with them living their lives.
Material needs. That is what's happening right now. We need to be using material needs are wrong.
Let me respond. I have nothing but respect for trans people. Always have said that publicly, loudly, and proudly. I want trans people to have the same rights to fairness, equality, and safety that all of us enjoy. Right? I've always said this. However, at the moment, what's been happening in the last few years is the trans rights lobby has been aggressively eroding women's rights to fairness, equality, and safety. I am a woman
who likes
and that's
women's
when I have a big
sports.
problem. And if you want to run something in America, you want to be an elected official, if you're going to run on a ticket that nobody cares and it doesn't matter, I'm telling you, you will lose. And your party, if they have a leader that also believes this bullshit, is also going to lose. It is as simple as that. Let me go to James. In fact, let me go to Harry on this. Harry, where do you sit? I mean, are we at the stage where I can ask you what a woman is yet or not?
Well, I just think this conversation, I agree with, I just think it's so meaningless. Like, I think if the Republican candidate in Cat's district would run solely on trans issues, Cat would love it. She'd be so happy because she's going to talk about affordability and the issues that actually matter to people, not this like whole made up, culture war issue. And that it extends to the national scale. It absolutely is manufactured. Piers, this is so disingenuous. Piers, listen.
Okay, this is where Harry Sisson nails it. He looks right at Piers and says, "This is disingenuous." And he's dead on, because Piers keeps acting like Republicans can just scream about trans issues and win elections. Come on, that's not how this works. People care about paying rent, affording groceries, and keeping their jobs. And what I like here is Harry doesn't get dragged into the culture war trap larger. He flips it back to affordability. That's smart. Notice how Piers doesn't really answer him. He just kind of pivots because he knows Harry's right. If Democrats did this more often below, call out the BS and stick to real issues, people like Piers wouldn't have anything left to run with.
In 2028, do you think that if J.D. Vance ran simply on trans issues and you had like a Gavin Newsom talking about affordability, do you think that people would actually vote for J.D. Vance in that election?
Nobody's going to run on just trans issues. But if you think that Donald Trump didn't win...
Well,
hang on.
Wait,
let me respond.
We're trying to talk about affordability and common sense. You're talking about
Let me give you my considered...
Go ahead.
Let me give you my considered answer, Harry, right? I think Trump won for 3 reasons. I think 1, the economy. I think 2, immigration. And I think 3, the culture war stuff that you guys love to play down but also love to fuel. So when there's a Sydney Sweeney ad comes out, you all throw your toys out the stroller and make it a huge story. But actually, people care about this stuff.
Nobody,
they do
I don't
not
know a single
want
Democrat.
trans athletes in women's sport. James Carville is right about this. I'll come to it in a moment. But you're so wrong, you guys. And if you think this is a winning proposition,
Pierce, I don't know a single Democrat on your Sydney Sweeney thing who actually is angry at the ad. You know me. We've talked before. I love Joe Biden. I'm as Democratic as you can get.
I've had them on my show.
I couldn't care. Well, then they're not representative of the Democratic Party.
Martin Lamont Hill was literally spitting blood.
Then Pierce, listen to me when I say this. They are not represented. They are not representative of the Democratic Party. You talk to your average Democrat on the street. You ask them about the Sydney Sweeney jean ad. They're on their way to work. They don't give a shit. They couldn't care less if she's wearing jeans in an ad.
You guys are so wrong. Harry.
Oh, wait, I'm saying, Pierce, I'm saying the opposite of what you're arguing right now. I'm saying I don't care about the ad. I don't care.
Harry, you're wrong. Let me tell you why I think you're wrong. Respectfully. Or not respectfully. You can play the James Carville thing of saying,
no, I
don't care
like
about
the respect, Pierce.
That's fine.
I like the respect.
I think it's a number of things. If it's J.D. Vance in 2028, he'll run on economy and immigration, probably fewer foreign wars, all the things that made Trump popular. But he'll also run hard on the culture war stuff if you lot are still running on absolute nonsense.
Pierce, let's cite our friend James Carville. It'll come down to it's the economy, stupid. Donald Trump in 2020 tried to run on culture war issues. There were Republican senators in 2020 who tried to run on culture war issues in their states, and they lost because the economy was failing. The economy was failing the average hardworking American. So if J.D. Vance in 2028 wants to run on the economy and immigration, he'll lose because people are outraged by what inflation going up, people being kidnapped off the streets by masked agents. And if he wants to throw the culture war issues in there,
you were 3.5 years away from that election. I would wait and see. Yes. I'd wait and see how that plays out. James Carville,
Pierce,
let me get to James. Hang on, Joe. I want to go to James because Joe. Quickly.
No, I was just going to say quickly. I agree with Harry and Kat on the issue, but Pierce, I agree with you on the politics. Look, I used to be a culture war fighter on the right. Republicans throw out this stuff and Democrats never fight back. And it matters. And it did cost them. It all matters. The transgender issue matters. And the great irony is most Americans are where Democrats are, where you are, Pierce, on the issue. Transgender Americans should have full rights. Let them live their life in peace. And we embrace them all. When it comes to transgender women in sports, man, the competition's got to be fair, period. That's where most Americans are. Democrats need to fight that fight because most Americans
where we have most of our data about transgender.
Yeah, and by the way, the idea Democrats do not,
and the military
the idea that
has
Democrats
shown
do not
that there is not a physical benefit. Like this is
it's complete
U.S.
nonsense,
military.
Cat.
This is just data from the U.S. military of soldiers who have transitioned.
It's nonsense. Of course, men have. Okay, so let me take your argument to its logical extension. Why don't we make the Olympics gender neutral? One gender, anyone can enter any race. You up for that?
I think there should be plenty of gender neutral sports, frankly. I mean, I love doing that in kickball leagues.
No,
I'm pretty good at it.
Sorry, you're just saying you just said there's no physical advantage for men. So let's have gender neutral Olympics where you can be male or female and it's all in one gender neutral sport, right? Would you do that for the whole Olympics? Yes or no?
Sure. I'm not in charge of the Olympics, but
right. You've just literally ensured that no women would win an Olympic gold medal again, with the possible exception of equestrian and I think one form of shooting. Other than that, no women ever win an Olympic medal ever again. Thank you, Cat Abu. Brilliant. What a brilliant election-winning campaign message. The Olympics are going to be gender neutral, says Cat Abu. I'm not voting for you in a million light years. James Carville,
I don't think you live in my district.
As you said last week. You know what? If your district could hear you talking about gender neutral Olympics, they think you were insane. James Carville, last week you said...
All right, this part is just embarrassing. Piers Morgan takes the whole debate and turns it into some wild hypothetical about gender-neutral Olympics. Like, what nobody is talking about this is completely made up just so he can scream and look outraged. And the funniest thing is, he thinks this is some kind of election winning point. No normal voter is sitting at home worried about whether the Olympics are going to be gender neutral. They're worried about rent, bills, healthcare. Piers is ranting about fake scenarios, while Harry Sisson and Cat Abu Ghazaleh are the only ones bringing up real issues. This is classic Piers. When he's losing the argument, he makes up some extreme example to scare people, but here it just makes him look desperate. And honestly, Harry completely shut him down earlier when he called him disingenuous and brought it back to affordability. That's how you beat Piers Morgan. Don't play his game, talk about real life. Anyway, that's the clip. Let me know what you think in the comments. Did Harry Sisson completely embarrass Piers Morgan here? Don't forget to like the video, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.